All right. I forgot. The last time I made the tier list, I sort of rearranged the setup, right? Because damn. Okay, hang on. I need to check how I arranged that setup. Just the screen setup. So we can see the tier list and the thing at the same time. Okay, so it was right. I put this up in that corner. Okay, just true. Let me just do that real quick. Okay, cool. I also just realized I have not dragged out the ships yet. So they're already in their respective spots, but that's no fun. Okay, let me just reset all of this real quick. Really quick. Okay, while I'm doing all of this stuff, I can say there was a three-way tie for the worst ship in TRC. There was a three-way tie, so I mean, if you wanna take a guess, go for it. Okay. Let me see. So 1, 2, 3, 29 ships, right? Yeah, cool. One Blue Spider ship or Angelus Mantis ship? Interesting thoughts. One of them is correct. The Monk ship has less reliability than having full ion. Really? No. Wait, are you talking about this one? I think that's a spicy take. I would not think of putting that near the bottom of the tier list. But they're also scattered. Like, yeah, I'm sorry for anyone who's here. I'm like, I'm trying to undo me dragging the ships onto the tier list so that I can show it one by one instead of showing the whole thing. 'Cause I made a mistake this time. I left the ships up where they were, so I could have just dragged them all out. Oh yeah, we'll just stick them all into one tier and pull them out. Minor mistake. Honestly, I have no idea. At least from what I remember in playtesting, I don't remember it ever having drones. My guess is that they forgot. I think they took Monk A as a template and then they forgot to take out the drones. That's my guess. All right, sorry, I'm almost done. I swear. Okay, we've got 28. I left. Oh, I left. Oh no, okay, I found it. 30. Cool. Okay, I dragged every ship out. All right, sweet. Let me just arrange the windows and we should be good to go. Cool, cool. Um, Unfortunately, I don't remember the exact specs that I did the last time, so it's gonna be it's gonna be a rough approximation. I think that looks about right. Uh, Let me see that again. Okay, no, it was smaller, so we could see more of the tier list. I don't think it matters that much. We're not showing that much of it anyways. But yeah, if we just do this, there we go. There we go. Should it display capture? No, no, wrong one. Yep. Okay. Yeah, we'll just go with this then. Wait, no, I'm supposed to track this. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. Don't know why it's felt like it's been a long time since I did the other tier list. Such that I almost forgot how to get this thing coming about. All right, so yeah, I say we get started right here. So, assuming I've set things up properly, yeah, I'm just gonna plop everything here so I can keep the tier list shifting up. Okay, okay. Yeah, no, it's like this is the stuff I actually did. The last time I made the tier list, I did all this before the stream. This time I turn on the stream and I forgot to do all this. So it's like a bit awkward, like that I had to do all this now. So sorry about that. But let's actually get things underway at last. So, as I mentioned earlier, we actually do have a three-way tie for the worst TRC ship. I was thinking for a bit, and like honestly, these three ships are kind of equally horrible that I'm not really sure which one to put ahead of another. They all they all have their pretty similar weakness, I would say. I think you'll see why. All right. Sorta, you said which one was it? Yeah, one crew boot ship, you're correct. That's it's a, they made a boot ship worse than boot C. I can't believe it. Okay, so there's that one. The other two, the Fed ship, TRC Federation, and TRC Scientist. Okay, let's go through this one by one. TRC Geneocracy. Those who remember when Morph C used to be like hot garbage will remember that it had a single weapon that dealt damage after 17 seconds. Do we see a similar issue here? Like heavy ion takes 15 seconds to hit. Particle collider 2 takes 17 seconds to charge. Right. So we have a very similar issue here. And there's a bit of benefit and downside compared to old Morph C. For instance, here one glaring downside is that if you miss heavy iron, you are cooked. You're sitting here for another 15 seconds. So the enemy gets to shoot at you for 30 seconds. The upside is that, well, it is split into two weapons after all. So if you do take a hit in weapons, Collider goes offline. But if heavy ion hits two times in a row, at least you still can shoot back. Yes, it's not guaranteed system damage because heavy ion and ion dealing it deals ion damage, not system damage, but at least you can shoot back. It's unlike old Morph C where if you get shot once, you literally just crumple on the floor and die. So for that reason, that's why it's actually in like E minus tier, not F tier, though it got pretty close, I must say. Shield buffer is also nice, I guess. And yes, you don't exactly have the same capability of transitioning to a teleporter like Old North Sea, but at least level 4 weapons gives you some buffer and also some room for flexibility. If you get something like a burst 2, then you can slot it on pretty easily. Not like some other ships where you can't slot on a really good 2 power weapon easily because that either disrupts your weapon flow or your power is just too low for that, right? So I don't want to say too many good things about the ship because 17-second cooldown is horrendous and there's no other way around it. So yeah, the shield buffer is nice, but that's that's about all we can say. And yay, level 3 sensors, which is definitely gonna help you survive. Next, good. Okay, so for starters, let's just here we go. The crew is randomized. If you get a Mantis, you're essentially repairing at the same speed as Kazak's cruiser, which is horrible, right? If you get an NG, you suck at anti-boarding. You have to use bombs on your own ship, which is not less than ideal. Like if you get separatist, yeah, that's really cool, really lucky. But you can also get a leech, and if you get mind control, good luck. And also, we do have the same issue again of 17-second missile. Like Momus is great if you can protect it. The only thing protecting Momus is a one buffer point in weapons. That's it. And Momus has a 10% accuracy, but that doesn't even guarantee that it's gonna hit the system. Because enemies typically have 15% evasion since they have 1% manning piloting, 1% manning engines. So yeah, I don't want to say it's gonna miss because 5% chance to miss is pretty low. But otherwise, your ship is just poor. Like you don't even have that much reactor. The bombs are kind of mid. Like depends on the circumstances. You may not even be able to use crew killed enemies with one bomb. And of course, same issue with the other ships in the lower tiers. If you get hit by a heavy laser into weapons, you get cooked. If you get hit by a stray shot in the shield, you get cooked. Yeah, and I don't like how bad the crew killing is on the ship relative to the amount of ammo you have to spend. But definitely one of the main reasons why it's down here is because of like this thing taking 17 seconds. So that's why I say these ships are so common. These three ships are so similar because of the whole 17-second issue of it takes that long to do system damage. Yeah, and you don't really have much else to sell anyway, so it's not easy to get out of this ditch. Next we have yeah, Collectors Federation. Like, come on. It has the same beam artillery as Federation A. That's already a bad sign. And the weapons, I mean, to be fair, it has a buffer point, which I can't say the same about Federation A. Federation A, however, has a shield buffer point, so it's more like they took the shield buffer and moved it to weapons for this thing, so that's nice, I guess. But this is not a fast gun. This is not the same as shooting at Artemis, right? Because, well, for one, Artemis does 2 damage, this does 1. And 2, this thing actually takes a while to travel mid-air, and in that time, you're essentially shooting the same thing as if you had shot a Momus, because Momus travels pretty fast. So again, these three ships have the exact same issue of taking way, way, way too long to shoot their first shot. And once you do, it does one system damage. So do you want to shoot at shields and then take the chance that chain heavy might miss at their offense, or do you want to just shoot at one of their offense systems and then just hope for the best? Because another thing, comparing this to Federation A, is that you don't, where's your NG? You have 2 humans for repair. That's not good. Vents are worse. If you get hit by a fire and weapons, you have to vent piloting. Like, at least for Fed A, for all the bad that is said about Fat 8, there's a vent directly on weapons. So you can just vent that out without having to go through a long path. So here, fire cooks you even more on Collector's Federation because you only have 2 crew to repair and your vents suck. Like even back in here, it's like, does Fat A have? I'm pretty sure Fat A has vents like at the back there. Let me double check. Yeah, it does. So the vents are worse. The crew is arguably worse. Yes, I know it's soldiers, but you need sheer crew quantity to help you fix stuff. You lost shield buffer, but in fairness, you got a weapon buffer, but you're still firing way too slow. Like this thing loses to a heavy laser. If it had 2 buffer points, yes, I think this could be higher, but it only has 1. So I can't really justify this being that high. Doesn't the breach and border spawn Fubo crew in sector 1, meaning that evasion drops to 0? The breach crew. No, I think you're right. Let me think. Because I swear there was one time when I shot this at shields, and then I shot the chain heavy, and then the chain heavy missed. Because that's something that's been scarred into my mind. Maybe no, okay, I think you're right. I think what I was thinking of is one of those 3 crew powered ships. Okay, yeah, fair enough. So that's not that big of a point then. So let's just the original points still stand where this thing it still takes too long, heavy laser vulnerability into weapons, not enough repair crew, bad venting, and you're just not that rich on in all honesty. So yeah, we don't need to talk about the artillery. This is a wasted system slot, as usual. Moving that pot to weapon slot 3 makes a big difference. Uh oh, you mean yeah, as in you bring it out to the front. Yeah, I kind of get that because the time it takes to travel from here to here is already like half a second at least. So yeah, replace pot with a laser and have a good time. Yeah, yeah. Let's just get a burst laser too. Like that won't benefit every single ship. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so these 3 I'm pretty well set on fact that these are the 3 worst ships in TRC. I looked through everything else, and there are some ships which I don't like this one, which we're gonna get to soon, and this one, but absolutely not as terrible as these 3. Have I done a Kleptocracy flagship one? I should have. I've played every ship from page 1 to 13. Actually, no, I've literally, like, right now, I can say I played every single ship from page 1 to 18, except vanilla cruisers, because I've literally done all that. Oh, Kleptocracy flagship. Okay, no, I have not done that, because that's an add-on. Sorry, I read it as saying Kleptocracy ship. So yeah. Um, yeah, I may make a mental note of that to do that in May or June, because we do have a bunch of like time left. Not many ship requests came in, so I have a lot of time to just do whatever ships I feel like doing. So Slop not flagship. Yeah, I'll just note that down somewhere. Okay, cool. Next up, we're not going too far away because we are also looking at another just I don't know what to say about the ship kind of ship. The ship that is self-proclaimed to be having more bombs, but it literally has less bombs than the original Hymenopus. So it's really a bit whack off the team from the get-go, but the issues, it doesn't stop there. So one thing I would say in all fairness is that why it's above the other 3 is because you do have multiple points of offense. Like, yes, this thing is not reliable, but if you get heavy laser into weapons, at least you can turn this on. So that's already like something better than the other ships do. But that's as far as I can say about the ship. Even gameplay wise, it's really frustrating to play this optimally because to play this optimally, you just spam gasoline bomb until you kill them eventually. Because this has a 30% fire chance and it doesn't take missiles. So the fact that it doesn't take missiles means that by default, this is the optimal way to use the ship. Because if you, the moment you shoot this, you are only shooting this for a dangerous fight. If you have at a totally safe fight, you're just gonna shoot this over and over until you get the objective done. The drone is significant bombs. Ah, yeah, I know, but it's like, how do we go from 4 bombs to 2 bombs? And you've downgraded all the bombs, by the way. Every single bomb, I think, except maybe firebomb. Like, I'm not gonna glaze firebomb that much, but like bomb, breach bomb, conservative bomb, all any single one of them clears this arsenal of Hymenopus 2 by a land mile. I would like even considering this is a one power gun, it takes 18 seconds. We already talked about how cooldown's a big issue here. And another thing that's I should mention, compared to the original Hymenopus, the teleporter potential is a lot lower because the bombs on the original Mantis B are a lot better at supporting boarding. Not to mention you get a 4 tower teleporter there, and you get 2 Mantis and a rock to start off with. Here your crew is just, I mean, it's not bad. It's not a bad boarding crew, don't get me wrong, but your teleporter is 2 tower and your bombs are worse. So it's just, even if your crew, you could argue the crew is not, is fine because these two technically can end fight quick if you use their abilities correctly, but the bomb support is just worse off. So the teleporter part is less viable as well, on top of the fact that, well, we've mentioned, still weak to heavy lasers, takes too long to charge. Technically, you have 2 forms of offense, but this is very unreliable because it's not like this is a missile drone like what's the other ship? Yeah, like this one. If you chuck this out, the fight's gonna be over very quick because it does hull damage every single time. This one only does system damage, so that means it could just be shooting that for 5 minutes and it may not even hit the thing you want it to hit. The only reason I'm putting this like this, I'm even slightly considering this is because it can do something even as the rest of the ship gets pelted. Like if your shields go down, your weapons go down, technically this thing is still running. So that's it. Did gasoline take ammo? That must have sucked. I don't remember that because I remember a time when gasoline bomb like it took it had a 10% fire chance, I think, and it was abysmal. I play tested this in playtesting. It was an experience. Let's just say that. But yeah, overall, same issues. Too long of a cooldown. This thing doesn't do any system damage by itself. So if you're in a dangerous fight, you need to wait 18 seconds. You have backup offense, which is very unreliable. Not much room for scaling. Teleporter's not as great of an option as the original Mantis B. So yeah, that's it. It used to take ammo but have a higher fire chance. Huh, interesting. I my memories of this thing is that it always took 0 ammo. Yeah, okay, that's a crime. It lost a weapon slot. Automatic F tier. Easy F tier. Alright. Wait, did I drag the ship? Okay, cool. I did. Can we still see it? Yep, there we go. You know what, let me just hmm. Hang on. How did I get this set up to work the last time? Because there was a point um where I could drag the yeah, when I could see the bar and drag the ships up and still show you guys the full tier list. I'm still trying to figure out how I got that to work last time. I think it's just would we just drag down, make it bigger, I think. Yeah, okay, okay, this is how I got it to work, I think. Cool. Anyways, Yep, so that's this ship. Next up, what would we have? Let me check. Oh yeah, we've got, let's say, even 3 to 4 ships in close succession with each other. So let me see. First, let's talk about the. I mean, this ship in theory could be a lot of fun, but I think the execution just kind of falls flat. It's the well, let's put all of our power into drones ship. This one, but then it's also stealth, but it only has 5 second cloak. So we're sitting there. We need this thing to kill the enemies quick, and it doesn't even guarantee like system damage on the crack room. By the way, so I think the main issue with this ship for me is not the fact that it can't kill, because yes, it does pretty well into one shield enemies. Two shields, it gets a bit dicey, but you can still micro around. It's mainly the offensive scaling that's the big issue. Like, unless you get lucky and find another combat drone, then you can just turn on double combat drone and one suppressor, then you're pretty much set. But that requires you to find a combat drone, and I think you would have to get it for free, because if you find it in the store and you buy it, you're delaying shields, which is like, no, just don't delay shields. And yeah, I think that's the main issue I really have with the ship. It's not so much. That's why it's not further down below, because you're not that vulnerable. I mean, yes, it's not fun if you face a drone ship. You have to take constant ship damage in Sector 1, but it's definitely mainly the offensive scaling. You don't even have a weapon system to start off with, so that's another 50 scrap you have to invest before you can even use a random weapon. And that's on top of missing shield. So it's just, I get that it fits into the theme of like they wanted to remove a lot of systems and a lot of power, so you can run a lot of drone power, but the drone power is not that it's not even that great. Doesn't like compensate, you know? Okay, I'm not sure what happened to my voice there, but yeah, it just doesn't compensate for the lack of shields, weapons, offensive scaling. Like when I look at offensive scaling, I try to think of teleporter as an option. It's not really an option on the ship because you can't support your boarding crew well, and they're not ideal boarders anyways. So here, force the gimmick by removing every other single option. Yeah, that's kind of how the ship feels like. And it kind of works on ships like Kestrel B, for example, where you just it's poor outside of the 4 main lasers, but 4 main lasers actually work because you just fire them at your own will and they're fast. This one just requires more micro, and it just doesn't pay off as well. True. I will give it that. The airlocks are very, very funny on the ship. I don't know why they decided to give this ship 6 airlocks and they couldn't even spare 2 on this side for Federation. It's kind of funny. Like, do we hate the Federation at this point? Okay, anyways, that's that. Moving on, because we do have another 2 or 3 ships in close succession. Let's talk about. I don't know if this is a surprise. We need to talk about one shot. I think the ship is deceptively bad. I don't know. Do you think the ship's bad? Because, okay, um, to clarify, Epimetheus before the latest TRC update, it only took 1 missile. So I think it was quite decent at the time. Honestly, I would probably shift this up to like C or D tier if this still took 1 missile. But the fact that it takes 2 missiles now is kind of sketchy, because like if you do an average explosive replicator and the fact that this takes 2 missiles, you're basically spending about 1 missile a fight. So you have about 16 fights to go. And after that, then what? it's it's not so much that Epimetheus is a bad weapon now. Like, it's still fantastic. And part of the reason why this is up here is because if you get into a Sector 2 Renegade fight, you can just chuck this at the enemy. You'll probably get him to surrender, and that's fine and all. But yeah, like you said, once enemies have more than 8 hull, things start to get a bit dicey. And it's also because once you have this big flashy missile, once you stop leaning on it, then what? You can't. I'm not sure if you can fire this every single fight. I haven't tried doing so. I think I tried, but then ultimately my missile supply was getting low, so I kind of had to switch off. But if you use this every fight, you have two weapon slots for doing other things. So, like, short of you getting lucky and getting double momos or something, you you can't just keep shooting this at the hull. You have to shoot it at like weapon shields, heavy breakthrough, and then your other two weapons got to do something. Yeah, and I want to talk about that point as well. It becomes vanilla necessio, but we also need to remember we have a weak weapon system here. So you don't even get bonus scrap, right? You're just hull killing. You're not crew killing anywhere. So and light laser one is just objectively worse than than speedum burst laser one. So yeah, if you I mean, you can take a look at these system levels, and then we translate across to TRC stealth. Engine stays the same, but you lost one power bar in weapons, and your weapon got worse. So yeah, that's kind of an issue. Um, I'm not sure how I would go about buffing the ship, to be honest, because I think Epimetheus is in a okay spot. Maybe still overtuned, but like if you nerf Epimetheus even more, then the ship becomes even worse. So it's kind of a dilemma because I understand the point of the ship, and I think it does it decently well, but that doesn't stop change the fact that I know it kind of falls off very hard after Sector 1. Um, how many edicts edicts are there? I'm I'm not sure what you're talking about, Dawes, and so okay, yeah, coming back to the ship. I think I've stated my main points. It's just that when a ship doesn't have bonus scrap revenue and it has weak systems, it's already a big red flag. And on top of that fact, the offense is not sustainable. Like, let me look at yeah, let me just take TSC Monk as an example. This thing is gonna show up later on. It's not that low, but this is pretty clear. The offense is honestly terrible. But the reason why the ship is still good is because the defense is so insane that you can actually afford to skim on defense and then focus on offense. So if you see like if Flag 3 show up early on, you could buy it because you could just coast off shield, cloak, Zoltan shield for a while. Whereas ships that have to work on both offense and defense, like TRC Stealth, buying a weapon means you're delaying shields, and that's really a very big danger sign. So that's just one of the main reasons to have this stat low. You have too many things to worry about with your scrap. Oh, endings. I think there are six main endings. Some of these have like out endings where like this has multiple achievements from it, and then slug ending technically has I think two other variants. But yeah, there are six main endings you can achieve. At least six that I recorded here. Next is going to be yeah. Yep, it's about time for the other ship you mentioned. This thing. It's like honestly, I don't like this ship. But I can't rate it low. It's kind of like Tyler Heron B. I do not like the ship at all, but I cannot rate it low for the simple fact that it's actually not terrible at not spiraling. So, okay, yes. The annoying thing is you have to use a draw part every single fight. That's already a pretty bad sign. Now, The saving grace of the ship, 100% the fact that for all what it's worth, while these two weapons are not weapons you can shoot every single fight, on the fight you use them in, they will save you. So, because 12 seconds is not too bad, honestly. Like, that's faster than some other main weapons on some other ships that literally only have one way to deal damage, right? So, by that, it's already not as bad. So, if you're in a dangerous fight, just chuck this on your ship, chuck that at the enemy, turn this on, and then just go about defending yourself, you know? Yes, everything is very inconsistent on the ship. Like the fact that you literally have no targeted system damage. So that's one of the big reasons why this is down here. Well, and also, I think someone pointed out on my stream, like drone booster does not affect anything in any meaningful way. It just makes the manager drone move faster. Like, yeah, we definitely needed that. Just it zooms 20% faster to weapons, I guess. Because yeah, I think one update they made it so that these drones from deployment bomb are not affected, or maybe they just clarified that in the description. I forgot. But yeah, to sum the ship up, it's not impressive. You have no target system damage, and the only reason it's not F tier or lower in the E tiers is because it has like that what do you call it? Um, that emergency option, you know. It's like if Militia A had terrible weapons but it had emergency manual, so the presence of emergency manual alone would carry that ship out of F tier. That's how I think of the ship as. Just that one option that saves it from falling too far low. Yeah, replace useful NG with this. It's yeah. Problem is this is not sustainable, whereas the NG just repairs every single fight day in, day out. So yeah, that's sad. And the next ship, which is also in close succession, is going to be like it's a weird ship, I guess. It looks straightforward, but it's also just huh? Like I you're telling me you have one bar of cloak and your weapons take 16 and 17 seconds respectively. Like I I don't know. The moment I played the ship, I knew this is like it's not terrible because obviously it has two buffer points for demons, which is fantastic. But the sheer fact that you have to wait so long means any drone ship is gonna count you down. So yeah, and when you're getting pelted, you're taking hull damage. When you take hull damage, that means you have to repair. You either delay shields or you run on low hull. And beyond that point, it's like then what? Your offense doesn't really mesh well with each other. Like for body shade to work, it relies on the enemy's offensive system being near the shield system. Then teammates can splash everything and body shade can do something. Or you can, just sell body shade for a better weapon. So that's an option. But on the face value of the ship, it's yeah. It has the same issues as the first three ships we talked about, where the weapons are just too slow. But for what it's worth, it has two system buffer. And that's good enough to carry it out. Because Themis continues to be a very, very useful get out of jail option. That's the word I was looking for, get out of jail. Yeah, so Themis continues to be a very good get out of jail option going into Sector 2 when you face renegades. You can just throw this. It's a one power missile. Like, that's one of the reasons why I keep saying Aish is broken, Artemis is broken, Small Bomb is broken, because they are very cheap in power and they can save you by just helping helping you by taking pressure off your ship. That's the main way I would describe them. Yeah, this angel ship is an angel ship. That's it's not even special. I think the description literally states that. Yeah, it just packs a powerful punch to it, and there's nothing else. And it's kind of funny that they're self-aware of this. So yeah, I'm not sure because would I give this ship level 2 cloak? Maybe. Maybe after we buff Angel B in base multiverse. Who knows? Okay, cool. So that's this ship done. Now, next up, let's see. Oh, this is I try my best not to let my bad experience get bias the ship, but it's time to talk about Castro, Caracas Castro, which I'm pretty sure it's my first loss since um since the limits, maybe? Oh wait, where did I put this? No, I put this here, I think. Yeah. Yeah, like oh man. If you watch my stream on this, I think you know what went down. Yeah, yeah, that event happened. Also, hang on, let me just bring this up. Okay, cool. So yeah, yeah, we're gonna talk about that. So this ship, at face value, the weapons are actually really good. Like light burst is very efficient. Two power three shots in 9 seconds. Point out's a powerless pinpoint. These two weapons are fantastic by themselves. Issue: if you take one damage in weapons, you just lose both weapons. And point out, like I say it's very good, but if you can fire it. So 13 seconds means actually loses to heavy lasers, defense lasers, drones. I think it even loses to the first shot of chamber, I think, if the enemies are using chamber. Yeah, like light burst outpaces every weapon in sector one except charge laser, I guess. But it only does power damage. I mean, I know this one keeps it balanced, but that's the thing. You can shoot this, but this thing lags behind, and this thing can be beaten by, as we just saw in that stream, can be beaten by heavy lasers, which is a big deal. Because the crew is actually randomized on this ship. So if you get Zoltan, actually, this ship would be a lot better because that means you can guarantee to shoot point out every single time if you only take one system damage. So, as a reminder, my tier list for ships with random crew, it just assumes an average case scenario. You don't get to re-roll for the best crew. You only get to use the crew that you roll into the ship with. So I'm imagining like you're doing random ship streak. So you just click random and whatever clue you land on, that's what you get. So hang on, let's go back there. So that means you don't have the opportunity to roll for a Zoltan. If you could roll for a Zoltan, I think it would probably push the ship up to C or B tier, but you can't. So yeah, we get something like this where you get a breach in weapons. Good luck. Good luck, I say, trying to repair a breach with this crew. And I know I had that bad experience of just dying on jump one, jump two. Yeah, you can't just reroll until you get paralytic. That's not random. Yeah, so for what it's worth, once you level up weapons once, like if you just find now even just a heavy laser one and bump weapons up to level three, the ship instantly becomes a lot better. Just being able to secure these two things from going offline is massive. But until then, Sector 1 heavy laser issue. Same reason why I think the best comparison of this is um Auto C, which is also around this tier, D plus tier. Fantastic weapons, assuming you can survive the Sector 1 heavy lasers. Yeah, that's how I would sum the ship up. Yeah, shield jammer just it kind of just exists. I would take the 22 scrap though. That's nice. That's this thing that the other castros don't really have that much sellables. At least the classic castros. I know the MB castro has advanced navigator and whatnot. All right. Next. Oh, this is kind of funny. It's like is the NG ship that doesn't actually use drones for offense. Like, no way. It's I, I actually put it above the other NG ships, funnily enough. I do think it's like here or doesn't matter, I'll put it here. So yeah, this ship, I think it's deceivingly good. I'm not saying it's fantastic considering it's, detail, right? But I do think it's a lot better than what it looks, because it looks like a ship that has no shields, no cloak, just an okayish offense and an unreliable defense. So originally, I thought I was going to put the ship lower as well, but if you think about it, yeah, it works. If you think about it, like let's look at the sellables on the ship. You have med bots, you have scrap arm, 50 scrap here, overcharges 75 scrap in total. If you sell scattershot, you have 117 scrap. Like if you visit a store on Jump One and sell all this, you have 117 scrap. That's 8 scrap of cloaking. Sorry, not cloaking. I wish. That's 8 scrap of shields. So if you just take single jump to any ship fight, any supply beacon or whatnot, and then go to the store, liquidate everything, buy shields, you're basically an out Castro with 4 power and drones for whatever reason. It's like if you sell with drones, you're just sitting here with an empty drone system. But that drone system can come in useful if you find a random guardian drone, random combat drone. But yeah, like once you get shields, even if you lose the drones, these weapons are not bad. So I'm not sure there's much else to complain. It's not amazing, but it's fine. Yes, it loses to heavy sector one heavy lasers as well, which is part of the reason why I start at high. But there's also the fact that if you don't do jump one store, like I think that's a bit of an extreme example. You don't I don't think this is that vulnerable considering like it has a 4 power in drones. That means if it takes a straight shot on drones, the scatter cost still stays online. That means not like if a combat drone gets shot off into your drone system before your scatter shot can shoot at it, then you're just cooked. It's not like that because the scatter shot will stay online even if that happens, so it can help you fight back. Plus, if you somehow get to keep both drones, overclocking is actually fantastic against heavy lasers because like we know the cooldown is 8 seconds, so if you turn it on more or less, half a second after the fight starts, you can almost guarantee to face tank the heavy laser, which is nice. Mandatory defense drones. Yeah, I think that's a bit weird. I kind of understand because it's something about this ship is made of junk loosely held together, so let's grab more junk. But this would be really nice for a drone arm, It would really be nice because you don't have shields, don't have cloak. I think it would if it had drone arm, probably could even be C tier. Because you have even more sailboats, and you probably could hold on to one of the drones in that case, almost every single time. Yeah, trifecta underrated. It's still 4 damage. Like keep in mind, yes, it has radius, but it's still 3 shots at the worst. It helps you get through shields. Yeah. Every ship from TRC has a daring issue. Cool. Okay, that's that. Next up, okay, cool. Next up, we have where is it? Dun, dun, dun. Okay, we're gonna do two at once because they're pretty similar. Let's do TRC Dynasty and TRC Theocracy. So let's go with TRC Dynasty first. Now, as I've said in the beginning, I don't like the ship. It it is fine. It really is fine because like Fang Tian The shield pierce helps it a lot. That means even if you get shot once in weapons and iron magnifier goes down, you can still shoot Fang Tian against two, like against enemies that only have one shield. Or you can shoot iron magnifier, take down one shield, and then this thing can hit two shields. So it's actually surprisingly good against the exit elite because this thing only needs to hit once. You can just shoot it once. If it misses, shoot it twice. By then, Fang Tian's ready. You can slice them, take out all their weapons, take out all their shields, whatnot. Yeah. Now the thing about this ship is that if the enemy has a single ghost or phantom, wait, no, those are the same things. Whoops. If the enemy has a single ghost, separatist, or Lanius, you have to run. This ship has no hull damage and no direct crew damage. It can only crew kill by suffocation. And that's the main thing I don't really like about the ship. It's just I know those three crew that I just listed are not common, but it doesn't feel good to just be stuck helplessly. Yeah, that's a good point. Like it has 12 crew slot. I'm not sure why it doesn't have quick splitter. Yeah, but overall I think just Funken being able to deal guaranteed free system damage to any 2x2 system room, I think that's just a very nice thing to have. But the rest of the ship just doesn't hold up. I think these two are individually good guns, but not as standalones. It's like MFKA used to only have a charge two. It only has a charge two still, but at least it has four weapon slots now. So it's in that case where like charge two is a fantastic weapon, but not by itself. It's mainly good for breaking through shields and just for the flexibility of firing whenever you want. Similar story here, individually good weapons, but not not by themselves. The ship needs like I think if the ship had a defense laser, jumps up. Probably put this in B tier or something. And now for another ship, which is Theocracy. I'm not sure if this is a surprise for some, because initially I looked at the ship and I thought it was bad as well, but it it has the same Angel saving grace, or rather the saving grace of TRC Angel, in that it has two buffer points for one of the strongest bombs in the game. So yeah, you get hit by heavy laser here. This ship does not care. You're just gonna shoot a shrapnel bomb straight back at them, and then you'll be safe. That's that's the summary of why the ship is higher and not lower than it should be. That's about it. There's nothing much else good about the ship. Extinguishers is nice to sell. Magma is nice for crew kills. Rock plating is a nice get out of jail option, but they're not. They don't carry the ship. Shrapnel bomb carries the ship. So later on, if you get like a burst laser one, you can turn off shrapnel bomb in safe fights. Go for the crew kill. Or you can also just turn off magma in dangerous fights and use your other weapons that are faster and deal more damage. Or maybe if you're just facing an auto ship, in which case magma is useless. But yeah, it's like it's fine, but it's also kind of poor. You have extinguishers to sell, but the rest of your ship is kind of in the front line. For some weird reason, you have a ton of power. I'm not sure why. Like you have enough power to run shield, full engines, full O2, and weapons, which is nice, I guess. Yeah, that too. The mechanic is nice. I will say that. At least, like, you don't have to wait for the rocks to go bouldering around slowly. You can just run a shell in, pop, repair, and you're done. So yeah, I think definitely not as bad as some people make it out to be. Okay, hang on, hang on. Did I miss a ship? I was thinking. No, I don't think I did. I'm just thinking if I'm accidental. No, no, this is way higher. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Yeah, okay, okay. Hey, I got that reference. Yeah, vanilla. I know what you mean. Yeah. Okay, next. Are we out of the dumps yet? Yes, we are. We're out of the D tier. We're going up to the C tier. Hooray. So we're actually skipping past C minus and C tier. We're going straight to C plus tier for our next two ships, I think. Yeah, I have two ships in C plus tier. All right, cool. So, ooh, I think one of these is a pretty hot take. Let's see. Oh wait, hang on. It's up here. Let's put up first uh the Ampere cruiser, the Ampere ship. I think that's literally how it's pronounced. Yeah, the Ampere. All right. Fair enough. Play on the pun, I guess. So, how do I how do I describe the ship? It's it's fine. It's like okay, yeah, I think this ship is just the definition of just fine. You know, it has buff points. If you take one damage in weapons, everything still runs fine. If you take two damage, by the time you've already shot phaser, because phaser manned phaser is 9.9 seconds, so you shoot that before the heavy laser hits your ship. For example, Amp laser is pretty fast to be honest. Like if you get hit by a heavy laser here and phase one hits the enemy, then you can shoot this like two times before the shield come back online. So that's nice. Four power weapons is always just very nice to have. You have because you can just use this and then you can slot in a burst laser one if you're lucky enough. Like yeah, burst laser one is a bit too lucky, but suppose you got a one power weapon, you could just slot it on and just go with it. You don't have to spend more scrap to get that weapon system up, which is nice. And something that's also important is that the teleporter option is still quite viable with your double reach, especially ones in MP as well. That's nice. So that's one thing I really like is that this ship has built diversity in the sense that it's not fully relying on finding specific type of weapon to make it work. It can find well, almost anything to be honest. You could get a bomb in here, you could get a laser, you could get a flak, and or if you don't get a good weapon, that's fine. You can buy a teleporter and you have system disruption. So it's just the ship has options, and that's why I like. Now, the things I don't really like about the ship, it's kind of poor. The only rich thing about the ship is the four power in weapons and the backup battery. Otherwise, resources not good, no augments, two weapons that you can't really sell either of these weapons because they are kind of mandatory to make the ship work. But yeah, I just like the options that the ship has, so it's up here. But it's not the safest, you know. Sector 2 Renegade, I can easily see running through the ship. And next, we have. This is the hot take on the next one. Ooh, some people are not gonna like this. The funny triple compact chip. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. For me, I originally thought I was gonna put this higher as well, but the more I think about it, it's like, is this really that good, or is it just fun? So, look, 100 shot radius. This is it's really big. It's not good for consistency at all. Too many engines. Yeah, I mean, I guess the engines are nice, but one thing we need to remember is that that's 15 hull. So by default, it's already weaker than every other ship here, because I think every other ship here has minus crab bucket. We don't have. Hang on. Very important thing. I forgot to mention the crab bucket. Again, I'm not ranking the crab bucket. I literally forgot to do that. So we're just gonna chuck the crab bucket back in the unranked tier. My bad. Okay, coming back to this ship though. So it's let me put it this way. So if we look at vanilla Castro B, we see four lasers. And yes, the cooldown is 9 seconds compared to compact laser, which is 2.5-second cooldown. But this one, for one, you can aim it. Number two, you have four of them. Number three, your weapon system is not garbage. The same goes for Castro B, for instance. Exact same story. Yes, they don't do system damage, but they're a lot faster, and your weapon system is not garbage. Now, if we take a look at this ship, your weapon system is down in the dumps, and you can't even deal consistent system damage. Like initially, I think yes, the sheer volume of shots you shoot at them will get you through Sector 1 quite easily. And that's why the ship, I technically put it a little bit higher than the other two. But the offensive scaling option is a bit weird. We have the same issue like on stealth, on TRC stealth, where you need to work on defense because you only have 15 hull. But your offense is also, it lacks once you get past Sector 1. Sector 2, maybe it can work, but you really need to start looking for more consistent system damages beyond Sector 1, beyond Sector 2. This ship used to have 4 compacts. That's crazy. I think that would justify it being a lot higher then. But for now, I think this is where it is. And I guess another thing we need to keep in mind, this ship relies on the Zoltan being in weapons. If something happens in weapons and the Zoltan has to move out to not die, for instance, you just stop shooting. So keep that in mind. But yeah, I recognize that this can be quite fun. I just don't see a good reason to put this above the other ships. Like even even this Leech Amp ship has more offensive options than this triple compact ship. Because with this build, you're basically banking on getting another laser or pinpoint flak gun to help deal more consistent system damage. Whereas that Leech ship has just more options in general. It can go teleporter, it can take any weapon, and yeah, so on. So hopefully you understand why this ship is not higher, even though it can be fun. Okay, let's see. Um, we'll actually have a three-way tie for the next couple of ships. So yeah, I guess you could see a bunch of these ships. I was just not super decided on, but because they're all kind of similar in a sense. But actually, these next ships are not very similar. You see what I mean? So I'm just gonna pull them up right now. The funny Orchid cruiser with the drone missile, the mind control ship, and um war crimes ship. Let's start with yeah. I put the Orchid ship the lowest. But honestly, I think these two are interchangeable. So 100% second shoe is saving the ship. This has the same thing. You know how I was talking about TRC stealth, whereby you had to focus on offense and defense at the same time? Well, this ship is a good example of a balanced ship whereby your defense is good enough that you can hustle with it for the time being while focusing on changing your offense because you do not want to be using this offense for very long. You will run out very quickly because this drone takes 3 missiles every single time. So assuming it doesn't get shot down, that's 12 fights. If it gets shot down, it's even less. So and yeah, your weapon system is also kind of weak. So it's a very good thing that the shields are already at level 2. So you can actually afford to just buy weapons, get something new, like do some selling, do some. whatever you need to just replace the offense. I like this drone in the sense that it's a great get out of jail option when you go into sector 2 for the renegade. Like if you see a renegade and you have this drone, you're pretty safe, I have to say, because most of them they won't have anti-drones. And if they do have anti-drones, that means they're not that dangerous offensively because they don't if they have anti-drones, they're more than likely not to have combat drones. So it's that paradox. Like you can say anti-drones counter the ship. A ship that has an enemy ship that has anti-drones already has less offense to throw at you. So by that standard, you're probably fine. Yeah, they just took out the greenhouse for like the worst version of it, the inferior one, which is sad but understandable. Though like I guess greenhouse doesn't really work with seers, so maybe that's why. But yeah, it's fine. Technically, you could go with boarding if you really wanted to. It's not the worst idea in the world, depending on what else you get. Like if you happen to keep getting missiles like Artemis, Taish, Hermes, then yeah, go for a teleporter option. Like these two are pretty decent boarders anyways. So it's not as healing of an option compared to like the Leech ship, but it is there. It's not like buying teleporter on this ship, which is like highly unadvisable, you know. So that's this ship. Next we have this. And this one is probably the biggest surprise for me because when I looked at this ship before playing it, I thought it was going to be horrible. But then I realized it's only horrible if you stick to the gimmick. Now, this tier list does not consider gimmicks. It considers how well the ship can do whatever it takes to win. I may rant about the gimmick at sometimes, but that doesn't necessarily influence my placing of the ship. Like this one, I'm gonna complain that the gimmick doesn't really work because you should have way too much mind control, to be honest. You do not need this much mind control. I mean, I guess having this much mind control is what makes the ship okay, but it's not even because you're using the mind control. You're just gonna sell these two bombs. Yeah, scrap above all. These two get sold, this gets sold, and then you're looking at 94 scrap in sellables. They just turn this into a budget auto A because another ship would have trouble because it doesn't have consistent damage. But my control pad with Rat Laser kills every enemy in like 2 shots. If you go face a rebel ship with 2 humans, you might control one of them, you put them two in the same room, you Rat Laser them twice, and they both die. So that's pretty good. You can kill them. I think you can kill them in 10 seconds, basically. So that's nice. And yeah, I think I already said this, right? The main reason the ship is so high is because just don't stick to the gimmick. Just sell this and play it like a budget auto A. Budget auto A because auto A has 4 weapons and better weapons in general, but you still need 94 scrap sellable to just do whatever you want with it. You could even sell sealed sometimes, maybe later on, but that's something you could do as well. So that's nice. And finally, for around here we have war crimes, kind of. The war crime shit where you can't actually see your opponents, which is kind of funny. Now, on in contrast to TRC Dynasty, when I say TRC Dynasty and 2 weapons that work that are good individually, but when you put them only those two together on a ship, they're not that good. On this ship, it's actually kind of nothing. These 2 weapons are they are mainly standalone weapons in the sense that Virulent doesn't need any shield breaking, so it's very much a lone operator. And Pierce Magnifier, it hardly needs shields to be broken for it. But eventually these two scale, I wouldn't say they scale well at all, to be honest, because Pierce Mag it's quite inefficient in terms of power to system damage. Because 2 power for 2 system damage is not a great ratio, to be honest. It's very much acceptable for Sector 1 and maybe Sector 2. But I remember when playing the ship, moving beyond that, it's like I think I wanted to swap out of Pierce Magnifier eventually. It was just that much less efficient than all my other weapons. And Virulent, yes, it's great at crew killing, but it doesn't deal system damage. That's the name of the game. It's why I hate Falcon. It's why I hate Corbin. They don't do system damage. And yes, Virulent actually kills a lot faster. For that reason, I think it's acceptable. But going into Sector 2, you want system damage options. Fortunately, because these two weapons both cost 2 power, you do have 4 weapon power in systems. Sorry, 4 system power in weapons. Got it the other way around. And yeah, that just means you're allowed to be more flexible. If you get a flag 3, you can actually use it. Not like if you get a flag 3 on, I don't know, TRC stealth, you can't really use it because you have to upgrade weapons 2 times. So yeah, just having a big weapon system, I think that's just it's nice. It just opens up flexibility. And same thing goes for having 4 weapon slots. You're just allowed to use more weapons. But yeah, definitely not the most impressive strip, but I would say it's fairly well balanced considering it's also protected against the heavy laser into weapons. If you get hit by heavy laser into weapons, well, too bad because one of the weapon will still be running. Probably the Pierce Mag, so you can shoot them and stop them from shooting back at you. But yeah, that's just nice. All right, next. Well, I actually have a lot of ships in this tier. Hang on. I have 5 TRC ships here. No, six, six, six. I have 6 TRC ships in this tier. Okay, cool. Now, actually, no. Let's not talk about that just yet. Let's talk about um which one? Yeah, let's talk about TRC separatist. Okay, so yep, found it. I put it like here, I think. I put it here. Okay, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, you summed it up. Zoltan should carry. Without Zoltan Shield, easily E if not F tier ship. Because like these 3 drones are self fodder. I say voltage is underrated. I say that for the late game. Early game is kind of trash. Maybe not. I take that back. Because sometimes it can allow you to just like borrow use scrap to borrow some power in a sense, like because you're burning drone parts, but that allows you to borrow power bars if you really need it in a pinch. But yes, definitely Zoltan shield carrying because 2 weapon slot is not great. You're basically this trip basically forces you to rely on the drone system for additional offense. And yes, the suppressor is a nice initial touch for that, but beyond that, it's just RNG whether you get the drones. No other game system needs 6 power in a single. Yeah, that was my initial thinking, but you don't necessarily need to have 6 power. In a sense, like I said, I think the best way to say it's an expensive battery. You know how we compare like on TRC Suzerain, we say this is a expensive NG. Same thing here. Wait, where is it? Here. Voltage is an expensive backup battery. You use it. Let's say you have 4 power in shields for 2 shield layers. You can put this in shields for a dangerous fight, and then it just gives you 3 power bar. It will cost you a drone part, but yeah, like we said, it's just you don't want to be throwing this out every single fight, but you can use it, you know. So a little bit underrated, I must say, just a little bit. Don't take me as this. Don't take this as me blazing the voltage drone too much. I'm just saying it's usable. If I were to sell 2 things, probably no, overshoot goes 100%. Most useless one by far. 'Cause even if you get a border, you can just do extinguisher, turn off O2, go turn this guy nano. You can do things. You don't need overshield. Especially if you get another crew, overshoot instantly loses value then. And then extinguishers also probably sell. Like then if you need something critical, you can also sell voltage, right? Suppressor, I think I like to keep suppressor. One power for knocking down a shield is pretty nice, I'll be honest. And yeah, heavy laser is pretty good for two weapon slots because of the flexibility. It's flexible enough in early game that you can just shoot two shots and be done with it, or you can just save it up. If you get a like four, for example, in the slot later on. So I just talked all of that fluff, and it does come back down to this being a Zoltan shield carry. That's really the bulk of the ship. Next, okay, finally, let's talk about the TRC monk. So yes, insane defenses, but yeah, one of the worst offenses in the whole game. Okay, so I did do a test the other day, and I found out that if you auto aim the Infinity Ion at um, hang on, yeah, if you auto aim the Infinity Ion at enemy weapons, you actually can hit the enemy weapons before the shield comes back online. Yes, no system damage on the swipe tree. That's like really bad. But because I tested that and I found by auto firing Infinity Ion, that means your projectile trajectory stays the same. It doesn't like change to a different angle, for example. You can get to a system. So it's not, you don't have to wait, what is it, 39 seconds? You have to wait 26 seconds. Not great, but then again, huge full energy field. It's just insane. I think, yeah, one thing is no offensive scaling. No, there's no denying it. It's very awkward on the ship. But plus, your defense is so good, you probably can go these sectors without upgrading shields. Just focus everything on upgrading offense, and I think that justifies its placement high enough. Not any higher because I think the other ships above it have just an easier time even. But I think yeah, I like it. I like. I'm not saying I like the ship completely. I'm just saying I like it enough. It's not unplayable. Some ships that have an unplayable offense also have an unbearable defense, and then you're just spread out all over the place trying to fix everything. But no, here you can just focus on weapons, just single-mindedly fix weapons until it's good enough. So I think it's cool. Yeah, this is I would say this is what probably one of the best gimmick ships because if it didn't get cool, honestly, this might be a very low ship, like 80 or something. But the fact that it has pro means it's a really good gimmick chip. And I think that's one of the main reasons I like it. It's a gimmick that works. Not saying that I would keep the weapons, no. But the fact that the defenses can actually protect the weapons. It's not like some, I don't know, some. I don't have an example off the top of my head. I know that some ships were like, okay, no, I have an example. They pretend the defense can protect the offense when it can't. I'm looking at this ship right here. Just a slight fallout. But anyways, back to this. Yeah, I think it's just a. I like it. It's a gimmick done right. I think. Sorry to the Crystal Econoid fans. I had to call that one out. And it's not even. I'm not blaming the Crystal Econoids. I'm blaming Vulcan for that. By the way. Yes. Okay. Thank you. Good point. I forgot to mention, boarding defense sucks. So be careful of that. Be very careful of that. Next. Okay, I think we're done with this tier. Yeah, yeah, we are done with this tier. Okay, next. Oh, this is is it a surprise? I don't know. I think this is the lowest, even considering base multiverse, I think this is the lowest a ship with hacking is. I don't think any ship below B minus tier has hacking. I think this Collectus Vanius is definitely the worst ship to have hacking out of all the ships that have hacking. And it's because of the weapons. The offense is honestly really bad. And that's how you know hacking is an insanely cracked system because hacking is the only thing keeping this in B tier. Without hacking, this could be like a E, F tier ship, maybe F tier, honestly. It's hilariously bad without hacking. It's so similar to Ranius B after they changed Ranius B's weapon. And this Ranius B is carried by the existence of Ion Intruder. Like Ion Intruder can save you by just stunning enemy weapons and drones or whatnot. Here you just hack. And yeah, that's it. So I think it's just a lot more consistent than Iron Intruder. Like Iron Intruder is way less consistent against Renegades. That's why this is if you look at the placements, this is a lot higher than Rhaenys B. But yeah, 1 damage to weapons turns the weapon offline. 2 damage to weapons is a pretty big deal. 14 seconds loses to alarm sector 1 weapon. So a lot of the weakness of the ship is just hidden by hacking carry. I have nothing else to say about the ship. It is literally just a hacking carry. Yeah, that's hmm. Yeah, I don't really know why there's a random crystal morph, but it's a cool guy. Yeah, yeah, they wanted to stick flares on the ship. Like, I guess this was the best ship to stick it on because I can't see this being on any other ship. It would be funny if this was on like TRC Federation, just shooting a flares along with the clone pod launcher. Yeah, I will probably still sell it though. 15 scrap is not much, but it's appreciated. All right, moving on from a very boring ship to I think pretty fun ship, I would say. Yeah, this one. I got us mixed up just now. I thought we were looking at the B tier, not the B minus tier. That's why I was gonna pull the ship up. Cool. So it's I think you've heard me describe the ship before. It's basically uh Dustbringer A without the Zoltan shield. So yeah, I think I had it here. Wait, did I drag up the other ship that I was talking about? Oh yeah, cool, I did. I dragged up the IC radius. Okay. Back to TRC pressure barge. Like, tell me this doesn't look so similar to this. Tell me they don't look similar. Mm. You have a ballistic, you have a efficient energy weapon. The only thing that's separating these ships is the Zoltan shield. And that does explain why, and also a medical system, by the way, which does happen to explain why Dustbringer A is many tiers higher than this ship. It's got a medical system and Zoltan shield. So yeah, but for what it's worth, it's a significant step up if you look at Pleasure Barge A, for instance, because this one has two weapons that can function independently. Your boarding is fine. Yes, you don't have a medical system, but because you can just spam slot through your on-suite fine for quite a while. Like you can do every single supply beacon and just get a whole bunch of crew. And once you have 4 crew, you don't have to worry about crew damage that much because you can just overwhelm them in numbers. And I'm not sure there's much else to say. These kind of pretty good weapons, by the way. They're good at boarding support. They're good at just doing their own thing as well. I know missiles have always been good at doing their own thing in the sense that they can just get things done without the assistance of other weapons, but it's nice to see energy phaser also do this, and mainly because it's a one power weapon, so it's pretty efficient. Like I could see myself using this even if I transition to a laser build, just shooting this as shield. Of course, this wouldn't last if I found a burst laser 2 or burst laser 1, for example, and just filled my entire weapon lineup with burst lasers. But it's definitely a very respectable weapon. I would keep it for some time, especially these two. I love these one power weapons that can just help you stay safe. Yeah, what's not to love? I don't think there's anything else that's special about this ship, so we're gonna move on. And 1 second. All right, now let me check. How many more ships do we have? Okay, cool. We have um 8 more ships. All right. Where were we? Okay, so actually that means this makes the top 10 already of TRC ships. I just realized. So yay, I guess. So that means the 10th best ship is TRC Ranius. The ninth best ship is TRC Pressure Barge. So that does mean that um 20 out of the 30 TRC ships, well, 19 if we don't count crab, but 19 of the 30 TRC ships are B minus or below. So a little bit concerning, but we'll keep moving on. Next, I'm not sure again if this is big enough, but I don't think we can compare TRC Rebel to the same level as Rebel C, despite them having the same artillery system. So, hang on. Yeah, yeah. Cool. Now, yes, the artillery is fantastic. I'm not taking away from them. But then again, it does take quite a while to charge. And yes, it does lose the 2 shields compared to Rebel C. That's a very big deal. And I mean, it's a knockoff effect. Rebel C can still kill very safely because of the 2 shields. And this one just it loses crew kill and the shields. Magnifiers, I think, are pretty good, but it's on a 3 weapon slot check. So if you want to use both of these magnifiers, you have 1 weapon slot for disabling systems. Up until the point you get the iron artillery to be fast enough. Because at base level, I'm pretty sure this takes like almost 25 seconds, which is a long time. Well, it's not as long as the Federation A beam artillery. Just gonna throw some casual shade in there, but it is a bit too long for my liking. So that means before you get this up, you want to be relying on your weapons. And yeah, here's the thing: you can't even get through 2 shields, by the way, without the assistance of the iron artillery. With all that said, the iron artillery is well liked and well rated for a reason. Pierces all shields, absolutely wrecks enemy systems. It's fantastic, but that does require some investment. So I'm not gonna say it's the safest thing early game, but at the same time, like these 2 weapons are pretty efficient, I have to say. Yes, Magnifier one is a tad bit slower than well, what do you mean Vindicate artillery? Oh no, I was talking about Federation A artillery. Wait, is it Vindicator? Surely not. I think it's just called Beam artillery. Yeah, I would never. Isn't Vindicator the like cell pinpoint or something? Oh no, it's Arbiter. Whoops. All right, I got confused. Anyways, yeah, coming back to this. Yes, it doesn't have two shields, but it has a two buffer, so you're not that far off. Right. Oh, okay. Gotcha, gotcha. All right, cool. Yeah, the more you know. I did not know that until today. Cool. But I was tempted to move the ship a little bit further down just because it takes an awful long time to deal with two shields. But I did find this pretty comfy on my run because nothing saying you have to use the magnifier too. Nothing saying you have to use the iron artillery. You can just swap this out for another weapon that you find. And you've got buffers all over the place. So it's like if you get shot in artillery, your offense doesn't just die. If you get shot in the weapons, your offense doesn't just die. That's the what was the example of this? It's like it's Fat A but better, because this thing fires way faster than the Fat A artillery beam. So there's that. Okay. Oh yeah, true. Wait, is this a pirate ship? Yeah, it's pirate ship. I was gonna ask why it doesn't have decoy buoys, but I guess it makes sense if it's a pirate ship. Yeah. Cool. Oh, but if you get the Iron Artillery up and running, it's very fun. And if you can run it alongside these two, it's beautiful. Absolutely majestic. All right. So that makes this the eighth best ship, I think. Yeah, it does. Okay. Nice. Next. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Yep, we have seven ships left. Next is ooh, it is the crazy mad scientist ship, collector's engineer. Okay, I thought this would be a lot lower, to be honest. Okay, not a lot lower. I thought this would be probably like B or B minus, but it doesn't actually look that impressive on the surface. Until I realized I've been underweighting mutant bomb for a long time, because I didn't realize that mutants deal one system damage on death. That's a big deal. I'm not sure how I missed. I think I missed that the entirety of my playthrough. Yeah, never came across my mind. Because you can effectively use this as a suicidal option, like a kamikaze bomb, a dustbringer, but except they actually deal system damage. Like you can have your humans just fight in a room, even if they're outmatched. When they're about to die, just turn the whole room into mutants, and when they die, they're just gonna take the weapons home with them. So that's just nice. I just really like that added ability to just combust at the end. And beyond that, the ship's not particularly weak. Yes, it's not that rich anyway. Like there's no augments. Just your teleporter and your standard weapons. But it's fine. It's got an answer to a lot of things thanks to this last ditch option, which is also, funnily enough, protected by two buffer points thanks to fire energy. And mutant bomb also just allows you to board with like really bad crew in a sense. It's You always have this to boost offense if, for example, you don't find any good crew to just keep going. Not that I'd say it's a good thing to just spend this bomb every single fight. I don't think that's a good idea. I'd much rather use this as a backup option. But you have four weapon slots, so you can always keep this up offline in safe fights. Use fire energy with whatever weapons you find. Then in a dangerous fight, you turn this on, you board their weapons, and then you just pop. That's it. You just get guaranteed safety. So the part about guaranteed safety, I just really like that. So yeah, that's Yeah, I'm happy putting it here. I can't put it much higher because the other ships are also very consistent in the B plus tier, the other ships in here, but I do really like that self-save ability. That would be the seventh best ship in Multiverse. Next, we have uh okay, cool. Next ship is the very much fire ship. Very fury ship. I think I put it here. I think. Yeah, okay, cool. I did put it there. All right. So I I was thinking whether I overrated the ship a little bit. I honestly thought about that a lot, but I do think it's definitely justifiably good. For one, Scorch outpaces every single enemy weapon in Sector 1, even in Sector 2, 3, so on. Like 5 seconds is crazy fast. And this mainly applies to Sector 1 because you don't have to wait for any other weapons to knock shields down. You can just shoot Scorch right away. So that means you always have the upper hand, especially with mind control. You scorch a room, you mind control the enemy, it's going down. Doesn't matter if the enemy shoots a heavy laser at your weapons, at your shields, or whatever, you already have that upper hand. So that's a good thing. Now, teleporter option is also pretty good. Scorch, now Scorch I would say is kind of underrated in that sense. Yeah. Oh yeah. No. That I remember. Yeah. It used to have three Scorch, so you can just triple Scorch. But I think the fire starter is better. Yeah. I don't mind the fact that this is three power. I do recognize it used to be for triple Scorch, but it's fine. I'm not gonna complain about it. It's not like this ship desperately needs the fourth weapon bar. But yeah, as I was saying, Scorch is an underrated boarding support in the sense that if you board with double rocks, by teleport the board with double rocks, you can scorch the room you're in and have it's a defunct rock fire boarding party, you know? Yeah, random counters, I don't really know why. Mind control is nice, to be honest, just to like keep everything burning and burning and burning. So yeah. It's a mix of just having offensive options and also just being very safe early on. Like some renegades, I think some of the dangerous renegades actually only have one shield because sometimes if they put too much power into offense, they don't have enough power for defense. So if they have one shield, your scorches will just well scorch them, I guess. Because in Sector 2, 3, you do not see any renegades that have energy shields or any anaerobic enemy ships, which means Scorch just got better after they removed those anaerobic enemies from Sector 2. Anaerobic renegades, mind you, because there are still auto ships in Sector 2. So, yeah, in all fairness, I might have overrated this ship a little bit. Maybe a little bit lower in the same tier, but I do just like the safety in terms of defense and offense. Defensive, defensively is just fast weapons, and offensively you just have flexibility, teleporter, upgrade weapons, so on and so forth. That would be the sixth best ship, I believe. Indeed, it is. Okay, cool, cool. Now, all right, tops, top five, and should I just get three of them out of the way? Because I think by and far two of these ships are no. Well, I think the first place ship should be like fairly obvious. I don't really need to say much about. I don't need to hint at what the first place ship is gonna be. I think that one's very obvious if we look at the entire TRC collection. But let's actually go on to the next, the fifth best ship in TRC. In my opinion, um, it's going to be where is it? Okay, cool. Collector's Outcast. I do believe this is in the same camp as um what was it, Outcast 8 from base multiverse in terms of being underrated. Because if you look at it, it's just a fairly all around decent ship. I don't have much fault to give to this ship, and that's a very good thing. Like not many the main weakness you can think about is the fact that it has 6 crew slots only, but that's not that big of a deal when your technician can basically just spawn a drone if you really need to. Now, don't get me wrong, Hazard Sentry, the Sentry effect itself sucks. doubling the damage from hazards is really just I don't know. I've never seen a situation when this is useful. But due to the global Sentry buff, at the very least, this still drains one system power. So that's still nice, you know. You also have a Lost Sun, which while Lost Suns have become a lot less consistent, if you only have a single Lost Sun, it is still a Lost Sun. That means you can still start fires. Has a Sentry and Ultimate. Yeah, I kind of get the idea behind this, but if you hit someone with Ultra Burn and bought the same room, they're already dead. So, Has a Sentry is, in my eyes, overkill. It's overkill, and the fact that it's situational. It requires there to be fire or breach or stun. You know the other sentry that just deals damage no matter what? This guy right here, Nano Sentry. Which is it's a case of like, why would I use Hazard Sentry that works only once I've shot down shields, put Ultra Burn in, when I can just shoot a Nano Sentry instead and just win the fighting interaction a lot faster. So yeah, my main use case out of the Hazard Sentry is just to use it for the this system disruption. And in a safe fight, I'm just not going to shoot this at all. I'm going to save my missile, you know. And yeah, there's not much. Yeah, there's not many weaknesses to the ship, but also just kind of decent amount of offensive strength, to be honest. Like a lot of missiles stockpiled, even though you don't actually need that many missiles for some reason. You can do loss unboarding. You can bring in the drone to help board as well. 4 weapon slots, rock plating ram as a quick get out of jail option. That's just a lot to like about the ship. Definitely not as like this whole weapon system combined is not nearly as insane as an efficient Hydra, like on original Outcast A, for example. But it is very much respectable in its own right. And for that, I think it's the fifth best ship in TRC. Cool. And fourth best, honestly, I'm just gonna put this right next to it. It's not that much better, but at the same time, it's also pretty good. Collector's Hacker Cruiser. I must note, I do think this is the worst Hacker ship. Wait, where is it? Yeah, cool. There we go. Wait, where did I put it? Yeah, I put it like here. Yeah, fair enough. So a hacking carry, like for the millionth time, it's a hacking carry again. But still, despite all that, on top of being a hacking carry, what makes the ship a lot better than the linear ship we saw earlier that was also carried by hacking is that the weapons are actually a lot better, and your crew is also a lot better, for example. Plus, this crew defense against anaerobic borders a lot. I wouldn't say that. No, but this crew is just a lot more generalizable in a sense. Because if you look at this crew from here, if the raid gets damaged, you have to run them to maybe come back. And you just can't accommodate other crew. Whereas on this one, you don't have to just like send that ghost all the way back to get punched in a fight. You win fights because of this ranger. So your anti-boarding here is just better in a sense. You've got more power, and honestly, I yap all of that, but the main thing is the weapon power. Four weapon power with hacking is insane, especially when that four weapon power is distributed among two weapons, not one, but two. So you can take a heavy laser and weapons, and your shock will still be online. That's very, very nice safety. Considering system shock itself, it's not even low, it's like 12 seconds and pierces two shields. So this is really good. Like I would much rather have the heavy laser buffer for a ship like the Federation TRC ship, for example, than system shock. This is fine. And you're just hacking to make it even more safe. You have this which one shots every single inch crew battery as well. So there's just a lot to like about the ship. Now, to be fair, I think you can make a case for this being lower than the Outcast Cruiser. Like, if you wanted to, you could just swap these two around. I don't really mind. Because boarding definitely has that element of being very consistent. Because this ship does still require system shock to hit the shot, but we have hacking to protect against that. So hence why it's so high. You just a weapon that's already well protected by buffer is also protected by hacking. So yeah, though definitely something weird is that this one doesn't have any defense scramble or something. Like why it's a lot. I wouldn't say a lot lower, but why it's lower than the other hacker ships is that the other hacker ships all have like insane amounts of sellables for some reason. Let's see, like who augments 23 drone parts for whatever reason. Here you have defense scrambler. Here you have double augments 18 drone parts again. So the TRC hacker, honestly, I kind of like the TRC hacker because it's just a little more balanced. Like the other TRC, yeah, sorry, base multiverse hacker ships just have so many sellables for I don't even know why. At most, I understand B having defense scramble as like being standard across all of them. Type A does not need 23 drone parts. Like you cannot tell me that thing needs any more than 15 drone parts. So yeah, you could consider this as a more balanced hacker ship, I suppose. As balanced as hacker ships get, because by default, hacker ships have to start with hacking, so it's hard to balance that. Anyways, that would be the fourth best ship. Third best ship coming right up, it is, and I think these two are a lot closer. Um, Hang on, I'm just gonna find the exact positioning. Um, Honestly, I've been thinking about it. I might swap the positions around. I was gonna put one over the other, but now I'm gonna do what I originally intended. So, third best ship, in my opinion, is actually going to be the. Hang on. Yep, it's going to be the scrap. No, you don't even gain that much scrap on the ship. It's okay. It's the collector's augmented cruiser. Let's just say it's not about the base weapon being good. Yeah, you guessed it. It's a hacking carry again. But this time, it's not just hacking carrying. It's because you can sell all of this and get yourself an augmented boarding party. So you can play this as an augmented boarding party ship that also has hacking, which is like it's yes, you don't have any more weapons, but you also just have two of the most broken carry carry tools in the game: hacking and augmented boarding. Yeah, I don't have much else to say about this ship. The Bedazzler is not a good weapon that to rely on, but it does sell for 40 scrap, which is nice, which allows you to afford teleporter quite early. And once you buy a teleporter, you are fine. You just cruise, honestly. You could think of this as being similar to augmented B, for instance, whereby this one has like augmented boarding, but it also has a fantastic flat gun which it gets to keep. And I think that's part of the reason why I have this a bit lower, for instance, because admittedly, before you find a store, it can be a bit annoying to use this because you're just draining scrap for no reason. But then you get a teleporter and you just like win, I guess. Yeah. Shield buffer is nice. I really do not have much else to say about the ship. Hacking carry, sellables, self a teleporter, get augmented boarding, win. That's the TLDR of the ship. All right. And yeah, I think that means the top two are fairly obvious if we see the remaining ships, because we only have the merchant ship and the other one, which is TRC peacekeeping. No, it's not that high. I just forgot where I put it. Yeah, put it like here, for instance. Yeah, cool. So let's take a look. TRC peacekeeping. It's it's like the monk cruiser, but instead of having shields, cloaks, and Zoltan shield, you sacrifice shields for an actually quite insane offense, I have to say. Like this is a very steep offensive upgrade compared to TRC Monk. And that sounds like it's a given because we are moving up from a monk ship. I'm just comparing defense. Because these two weapons, like I don't even like ions that much, but these two hold it down very, very well. Because you could use one by itself and it would still be decent. Now you have two. You're gonna be disabling systems left, right, and center before they even get to damage you, thanks to Cloak and Zoltan Shield. On top of that, you can Q as well. That's nice, along with Temporal. Now, I would say Temporal it's a bit awkward late game because by having Mind Control and Temporal, you are locked out of hacking and drones, which means that you're gonna buy shields. You have to buy shields. You don't buy any other system other than shields in this situation because you only have one system slot remaining. But by doing so, that means your only way of disabling enemy systems is through your weapons. It, it, yeah, there's a niche case of you can mind control a leech or a shell and use their abilities on their own ship. But for the most part, the only way you can disable enemy systems are through your weapons on the ship. And that's one of the main reasons I have this a bit lower than you might expect. Because this start alone, I would say is basically an S tier start. It's just the mid late game offensive consequences are definitely nothing like limit level, but it's something you have to keep in mind. It's something that's not obviously solvable because most ships you can just solve the offensive issue by buying hacking and solve your offense, solve your defense and whatnot. But you can't do that on the ship. If you buy hacking, you're just giving up shields, which is also extremely critical. So either you play without shields, which is very dangerous, or you play without hacking, which means your only way of damaging enemy systems is through your weapons. I can't reiterate that enough because you only have three weapon slots. So that's kind of a big deal. If this had four weapon slots, I will move this up to S tier. But the issue is the three weapon slots. You have to deal system damage using three weapon slots. I think this is one of the few cases where I just kind of consider the late game in this because you need to do. While I say these two weapons are good, you kind of need to work out a transition phase, like something that actually deals system and how damage. So there's that a bit of awkward transition. But beyond that, still, on tier start, you should not be taking any damage in sector one or two. No, hang on. I take it back. Sector two has renegades and asteroid fields, so maybe sector two. But sector one, easy, no damage sector. Very, very easy. All right. And okay, was pleasantly surprised. Yeah, wow, the ship with a 12-point super shield and Sylvan is the best TRC ship. Like, are we even surprised at this point? It's yeah. No, I did say I was gonna put this lower. I think I had it. Hang on. Let me double check. Yeah. Oh no, no. I had it like S plus. Yeah, I had it there. Put it below the other silver ship because I do think it's a bit. I wouldn't say less stable because I can't say a 12-point super shield is not stable. I'm just relative to the other silver ships, the offense is definitely a bit on the weaker side. It still is fun, but it's really not that impressive, I guess. It's because you're mostly still going to be using warriors to actually do your stuff. So for a while, for the first few fights, you got to use a pistol, just mind control one guy, warriors to kill both of them, get some cool kills. And then after that, you sell a pistol, buy teleporter, and then you win the game because Sylvan boarding is just broken as it's just bonkers broken. The same reason why all of these other Sylvan ships are very high, except Sylvan C, that's a special edge case. But Sylvan A, Sylvan B, merchant transports are all very high because of the just Sylvan boarding is broken. Sometimes you can use this in a weapons group and you can turn off four weapons at the same time, which I find absolutely hilarious. Like that's bundled onto a single unique group. Yes, I know it is Sylvan. I know it's supposed to be strong, but he's not. Is he supposed to be able to turn off an 8 power weapon system at once? Maybe 7 power? It's just crazy. Yes, two augments is not fun, but when one of them is a 12-point super shield, I'm not complaining. It's, and that's that. So yeah, I think this is pretty self-explanatory to be honest. That augments, that's it. Oh, oh, so hang on, let me just this down. That was my like the tab I used to to bring the tip up. I finally remembered how I did this in the previous one. Yeah. I just had an extra tab of ships where I just kept sliding it up so I wouldn't have to shift the screen too much. But yeah, that's it. That's every single TRC ship. The cumulative results of 30 runs. And we're done with TRC. So that's nice. Done with TRC, done with the tier list as well. The ship tier list for now. So let me just uh yeah, let me resize my windows and let's just recap the tier list. So I'm gonna blank that out for now. It's gonna uh oops. Hold on. Cool. Yeah. All right. So let's just recap from start to bottom, because why not? The very best ship we have is the merchant ship. No surprise there. Next up, we have, I think we skipped S and S minus because I don't think the other ships are that strong. We go all the way down to A tier, where this one just has very, very strong start, but a little bit dubious mid to late game. Hack and carry, augmented boarding carry. Honestly, if you wanted to, I could see a reasonable argument for this being A class tier to more closely resemble where augmented B is. I think it could be a very, very argument. I'll move this here for now. Then after that, we have hack and carry, but you also have a decent weapon system. We have just all around solid, no real weaknesses, good fireboarding potential. We have not fireboarding potential so much, but just crazy fire starting ability, and your weapons outpace every enemy in Sector 1. We have the kamikaze option with the mutagen bomb. Just you can throw 3 humans into a room, turn them into mutants, guaranteed 3 system damage. Iron artillery is good, magnifiers are good, shield buffer is good, but lacking that strong factor to make it into the higher tiers. We have Dustbringer A without Zoltan Shield, two very, very strong weapons, but unfortunately a little bit poor. We have what's next? Hack and carry. This is the only reason this is up here is hack and carry. B minus here. We have, let's see, Zoltan shield carry, huge defense carry, but to be fair, the offense is absolutely terrible. But that's the idea of the ship, so that gets a pass. We also have two solid weapons. Unfortunately, those weapons are not very synergetic. Sell the gimmick and play it like a budget auto A. Defense is pretty good thanks to the two shields, so you can work on your offense. And the drone is a pretty nice safety option if you run into a renegade. Very fast projectiles, unfortunately a bit inconsistent, and the 15 how does hurt it a little bit. Just nine, it's not super impressive. This reach ship is just that it has options, which I like. Options for boarding, options for using any weapon that you want. Though it's a little bit poor, I must say that. We have next, oh, all the way down here, huh? Grapnel bomb carry, rock plating is nice as a backup get out of jail card. This one, no how, no full damage, very awkward, but function's good enough that it can work. We have um tons of sellables, sell it, become a budget or federation, no, not federation, become a budget casual A with trifecta and defense laser. We have fantastic weapons, assuming you don't get shot in weapons, which is a big issue for the ship. Once you get past that point, it's actually pretty good, but because of that issue, we're gonna have to keep it here. We have this angel ship. Um, Themis carry, the Themis missile launcher is just goated for having, it's just one power, deals a lot of damage with a two weapon buffer, which is nice, but the defense unfortunately lacks because weapons are slow and you only have one bar of cloak. We have this, which is very unsustainable offense, but for all that matters, even though it doesn't have targeted system damage, you can at least have a get out of jail card with your two drones. Well, your two weapons that print drones for you. That's weird. One shot, very strong in sector one, falls off super heavily after that because you need to work on offense, and you're pretty poor on that. No defense, weak weapon system, lots to fix. No targeted system damage, and you lack shields, and you lack a weapon system. It's kind of similar to one shot. So you got too many things you need to spend your scrap on. Oh boy, slow weapon system, very slow system damage. Your first system damage guaranteed comes in at 18 seconds. Technically, you do have the drones in case your weapons go down, so that's the only reason this is E tier. And finally, we have the trifecta of just terrible, terrible PRC ships. One crew, you roll a Mantis, your repairs are gone. Your first system damage comes in at 17 seconds. Your crew killing is expensive, uh, terrible all around. Slow offense, terrible repairs as well. Bad venting, useless artillery beam, vulnerable to heavy lasers. Your first damage also comes in around 17 seconds because the pod launcher takes quite a while to travel in the air. And stream quite literally 17-second cooldown on the only system damaging weapon. Plus, heavy iron can miss, and if you do, good luck. You're waiting for another 30 seconds while the enemy shoots back at you. That's it. That was a quick summary of all that we have gone through. So, yeah, I mean, I gotta end the stream off here. But if anyone watching in the future, or I mean right now even, if you have any questions about these placements, feel free to just leave a question, leave a comment anywhere under this video, or just ping me on Discord, ask me why the augmentership is not S tier. I don't know, whatever you want to ask. But yeah, that's about it. So TRC is officially done. For now, I will keep TRC on. I'm not that against TRC, really. I know some people are. feel like they're all in the right place. Yeah, I'm glad. I feel like everything I've got them all in the right ballpark. Maybe one or two tier up or down, but most of them are in the right spot, I feel. So yeah, I'm happy about that. Now, next week's schedule, we are actually gonna start discussing a weapon tier list next week, which is pretty exciting. And I will say I don't have just one weapon tier list. I'm gonna make multiple variations. I think my initial thought is I'm making three so far. Maybe I might, because okay, one thing though, with the weapon tier list, I'm not gonna gloss over the placements too much because I think it's more important that I get the concept of why I'm putting something in a tier across more so than why this is individually better than the other. Kind of like the ship tier is I don't want to fuss over why Kazakh's Cruiser is better than TRC Mantis, for example. I want to really focus on why I put these two ships in E tier. So that's gonna be the theme for the weapon tier list, especially since the weapon tier list has like um what have like 300 options or something crazy. So I can't afford to spend so much time just um individually focusing on each of them. So yeah. But yeah, that'll be next week. Look forward to it. Either Monday or Tuesday will be the first one, and then Thursday will be the second one as usual. Because we basically always have a Thursday stream, so that's fun. All right, cool. And with that said, I think we shall end it here. So thanks for watching. Anyone who's watching live or later. Any questions, pop them Discord or YouTube, and I'll see you guys next week for the weapon tier list.